Merry Christmas, Tamers, and happy holidays for the rest of you. Hopefully, everyone is enjoying this little series that we're having right now, thanks to Bandai and their wondering of what we think about everything we do and play with. So, with that being said, let's jump into Blue and have ourselves a great time. If you are new to the channel and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, as well as a like if you do enjoy the content we bring forwards. Comment below what you thought was the Blues deck of this year. Personally speaking, Where Garurumon was just nuts. Good day, Tamers. Today we're showing off the blue stuff for the year. Hopefully you guys and girls out there are having a great time and are actually looking forward to some of these janky results we're going to have. For those of you who don't know, a lot of this here essentially ran the meta for 6 months of the year. So if you started in, I believe it was February or January, if you're in America and you're Walmart or Best Buy or Target, I'm not too sure what the other store is that they sell it at, just put things out on the shelves on the original release date rather than the re-release date, yeah, you get access to these cards like a month early. So, Bakumon, when you play a Digimon from one of your Digimon's digital cards, gain a memory. Fantastic. Now in the Splitting Fish deck, which is the same as that what Gamon's doing currently, from EX3. Not really seen much play here besides cards nailing and I believe the Wellman stuff from this set. But again, more of a meme deck. Now kind of more of a deck that really has a place in itself, but still rogue at best. Strabby, best deck currently going. Blue Hybrid was fantastically powerful, with stunning everything to the point of where you just couldn't play the game. And Bandai did not see a problem with that. Sherman, I believe, has never seen any light of day, although it's only a 4-cost 6,000 DP level 4. Not terrible. But yes, this package here was just way too strong for the game. Where Garurumon, as far as I just never saw any play. Waymon and King Waymon, again, were in their own little fantasy world of we're going to throw things out of our stacks and do things. And as far as I'm aware, I never saw it do anything competitive. Magna Garurumon, I thought was going to be a competitive card, and it was used in like 5% of hybrid decks because they'd actually prefer to go into Azulong than they would actually this card. And then Ancient Maga, I just don't think I actually saw this card ever turn up anywhere other than pre-release just because it was a big beat stick. Tommy is the bane of everyone's existence because he is too well costed for what he did. And that is the issue. When you cost things too well, they kind of do things you don't want to deal with. Please stay at 1. Even at 1, it's too strong. Koji, unfortunately, didn't see much play. I was hoping that maybe in BT12 they're going to like retrain some of this guy's stuff as well to make it more usable or more useful. Blue Hawaii, definitely don't think I saw anyone play it. Starlight Velocity, I think I saw it played once in a deck. Tidal Wave did get used once or twice because, again, it was more the meme with the whale and stuff just going sideways. And then, again, BT7 had the issue with having these promo cards in there and messing up rare ratios because that's all they were actually good for. BT8, though, had the access to the wonderful amount of Armor Rush, which is where Vmon shined and did a fantastic job. Again, more control stuff coming in here, but I don't think we ever saw Snow Agumon actually getting played. Pam had a very interesting end of turn effect, which was essentially just suck things up into each other because that's what you want to do with DNA. Angemon had a very interesting deck choice with the BT1, Metal Garurumon, and Seraphi, where they'd suck each other up and they'd just give you loads of recovery, and it'd be very interesting. And then you go into the BT1, Metal Garurumon, and they would shoot out things again, and you just do it all over again, and you'd have a massive stack. It was fairly interesting. Unfortunately, as we already said here, that Hawkmon didn't really get much of a chance to do anything. Again, I do hope we get some retrains on the armors to make these more interesting. Hookmon is the one of the level 4s of Monmon, and hopefully we'll get a Monmon deck at some point as we have a Marsmon deck. Scorpiomon, doing whatever Scorpiomon wants to do. Tethook, again, and Frizzymon had blocker. And your turn when the opponent has a Digimon with which you're going to play, this Digimon can't attack it, which is obviously a bit annoying. Surfy didn't do anything, but very cool. Cheap to evolve, high DP, just vanilla. Essentially, just has to be a beat stick. Frosty, again, I don't think saw any play. I don't think he saw much play in any of the pre-release I went to. Imperial Fight Mode, again, very cool card, very high top end. It was very useful in Imperial, but that's about the only place it saw any action. I think it was occasionally used maybe in a Chimera build of armor, but mostly just used in Imperial itself. TK didn't really have much of an effect going on here because the original Davis was a little bit better. And then whenever one of your opponent's Digimon attacks one of your blue Digimon, may gain a draw. I think this was used maybe in pre-release, but that's probably about it. Again, the new Ken and Davis is fantastic at any multicolored deck because when you Digivolve into a multicolored Digimon, if you've already swung and you need to suspend, you know, suspend and actually swing again. So very good card, fantastic. Then we had access to Instant Blizzard, which I believe was used occasionally in some of the hybrid matchups as well as in Blue Flare. Maybe not so much, but maybe a little bit. Gigadef, again, fantastic card, very high cost though. I don't think it was ever teched in because Megadef is just a house of a card in comparison. Blue X2. The only thing they specifically gave us was essentially just this for Imperial and more Leomon exploding to death memes, unfortunately. Jerry here's pretty cool. On play, you may play one Leomon from your hand without paying its memory cost. Bonus turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, you may suspend this team to draw one. Because then you block with this, it dies, you gain 2 memory, you gain a draw. This never saw any play. Don't think he saw any play. Fist of the Beast King is kind of interesting in the sense that you can unsuspend one of your Digimon with Leomon or Beelzemon in its name. I've not seen anyone use this card, although it might be interesting in a Beelzemon deck if you can get away with using it. High speed plugin with jamming. I think this is played once or twice in the Sakuyamon decks, but again, I don't think it's used much now. I think it's mostly the green and the reds that are used. And then maybe the new white one we get in the X4. Going into BT9 now, we have the lovely Jelly engine that was used in a weird All-Force build back in the day. I don't know if they're still going to use it now if they don't really care for it because they get more gains off their current build. Gabmon X, so essentially running the best blue deck of this side of the year. So if you like blue hybrid and you want more fake guru names, well, here's some real guru names. Go at it, Sonny Boy Jim. The really what's the thing like this is we got all these here, and then in EX3 we basically got retrains that were better. Chaos Gammon here, this Digimon cannot be blocked, it's fantastic. Obviously stick it underneath your Chaos Gammon that we saw earlier, and yesterday's video. And essentially you cannot be blocked, so when you swing in security, you actually get your security swing. Gurumon X Antibody, the most busted card I've ever seen. Oh, what's this? You may put a Digimon here, and you can essentially ignore dying. Fantastic. Battle Protection, very interesting, a bit scary. Tesla Jellymon, end of attack, once per turn you can trust 2 cards in your hand to spend Digimon. Fantastic idea if you're just going to draw lots of cards, which you kind of do, and then essentially just keep swinging the game. Obviously, if you survive, you survive. If you don't survive, you don't do it again. The Audio Apprentice one here with Rush, it's fantastic in the going sideways Aquatics, Beastie, Sea Serpenty deck, just because you can go sideways. Divemon, I don't think to see any play anywhere because it's kind of cool. Well, not so bad in pre-release because obviously you just want Chibi Evolution to go high, and then Weru X Antibody unsuspending itself on Evolution and going crazy. If you have a Weru underneath yourself. The kind of weird Gate Guardians of Digimon didn't really do much anywhere, but I think people did try and have some fun. And then Metal Piranha kind of does what King Wailord does, which is why they keep trying to make this deck work, but this is an okay card. This, unsuspend, game blocker, go crazy, do terrible things to people, and be fairly annoying. Blue-red sources was seen in some of these decks to give access to ADP, so you weren't too worried about crashing into an option card. It was very rarely used correctly, though, because it's very hard to time when to punch in security with an ADP or not. Curicchio, again, memory setter. A lot of people just need more memory setters because the best ones are expensive. And then Startling Thunder, I don't think I've seen much of this. And Metal Storm occasionally gets used as 1 or 2 tech choices in the decks just to be kind of annoying to your opponent, which is what the deck fairly does anyway. Then we go on to BT10. This introduces the blue flare stuff. Greymon fake things look kind of cool. We've got some more Tesla stuff. Baby doll here. If you have an opponent with 2 more Digimon in play, draw a card. The idea sounds really cool, just never gets used. Bracky, Chunky Boy, Kokei experience. Thesta here, if you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand, draw a card. Makes sense, because obviously you just like threw yourself out there with the Tesla. And then 1 second turn, if you have 3 or more cards in hand, by trashing 2 cards in your hand, you can spend it. So yeah, just climb the stack and just hopefully you don't die. Again, Metal Grey, really cool. And then you go into Deca Grey, which is Armor Purge, and then people were messing around with this with Magna X as the high end. Recluse is like a really cool Digimon, but I don't think it's seen much playing. It was probably a pre-release kind of thing, and that was about it. Conundrumon is the top end for Monmon, if you can believe it. It's also a wonderful showing of why we can't have nice things in D-Brigade, because Conundrumon is also a D-Brigade. It has blocker, it's very chunky. It says that when Digivolving, you can suspend this Digimon, and then on opponent's turn, when this Digimon would delete an opponent's Digimon and spend this Digimon, so when you block, you get to block again, kind of thing. Krisha, very good. Memory setter, played in X Hearts as well as in Blue Flare. Blazing Memory is probably the best memory boost that we have in the game, just because of how effective it is at what it does. Plasma Deca Drill Launcher, I don't think saw any play currently. And that's it for the blues in BT10. Now, to the final stuff over here in EX3. Maybe Digimon. When this Digimon has Drought or Examon in its name, it suspends. This Digimon gains 1000 XP. Fantastic in the Examon decks. DC, we're going sideways in crab stuff and water stuff and sea serpents and whales and whatever else does its thing. Lots of it's on play, gain blocker, gain jamming, gain effects. Agumon, kind of like a retrain of the Hexablow stuff from BT6, I think, might be BT5, it's been a while, where you want to just try and slowly chip away at your opponent's sources and make it much harder for them to do things. And then if they've got no sources, then it makes them harder to evolve because they have to spend more to evolve. Quadramon here, giving evade being a skill now where you suspend yourself to essentially avoid effects. Pokemon the same. Wingdramon, again, giving evade, so you can do double evade depending on the situation of the cards and if you survive. Mega, again, it's just going sideways, and this is choose to choose one of your Digimon and trash them, then one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digimon cards. Can attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. It's done, but on a more fairer scale. Placemon, terrible card in terms of like how it looks, but it's probably one of the best ones for the deck because there's not many of these higher end ones happening so far. Breakdramon, also for the level 5s here, they get to evolve into Examon from each other, so you don't have to worry about the level 6s, and then you can play level 6 from your hand, I believe. Azulong, I don't think sees any play in the Great 4 Dragons decks, and then Aegistramon is like the cheapest card in the world. I think it's pennies on the dollar. You could probably pick up 10 of these for £1. It's not doing much at all, because, to be fair, no one is playing the spitting out Sea Serpents deck. And then Sarai is used currently in some hybrid builds, because some hybrid builds are still getting played because people think that Tommy's going to get unbanned, and it's also being played in Blue Flare. And that's about it for Blue this year. Essentially, Blue has had like a really good year. He spent the first 6 months of the year just controlling everything with Blue Hybrid, and then as of BT9, which is August, end of July, August time, Metal Greymon just spent the next few months slapping people around for the fun of it. And now we're in a situation where Blue Flare's doing really well. So, the year of Blue was 2022. See you guys tomorrow for Yellow, and hopefully you guys will be enjoying these terrible things that I'll say, because most of it's going to be about security control. And if you don't like security control, maybe jump in for green. All right, peace out and goodbye, Tamers.